Hey guys, what's up? Today we'll be looking at brand new cards. It's called Mikuratori. It's a dark level 4 winged beast effect monster with 1300 attack and 1500 defense. And its effect reads, this card gains the following effects depending on the main monster zone in which it is placed. For the leftmost zone, this card gains 1000 attack and defense. For the rightmost zone, this card can attack up to 2 monsters during each battle phase. The middle zone, this card cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's effects. And the other 2 zones, so left and right, immediate left and right of the middle zone, is monsters in the same column as this card cannot activate their effects. This makes this card incredibly versatile because depending on your situation, you can play it a different way. The biggest problem I would see with it is if you have quite a large field, you're usually going to end up being stuck with an effect you might not need at that specific time. But then again, you could also argue, why would you play this card at all if you're in that kind of situation where you're winning? So with its first effect, the ability to gain 1000 attack and defense, this is an incredible ability for a level 4 to gain that attack. So that to gain those stats, 2300 attack and 2500 defense. That makes it stronger than any level 4 out there currently. Most level 4s tend to be weaker than that. The only exceptions would be something like that Goblin Attack Force, which has 2300 attack and 0 defense. But then again, that has its own downside with having to switch to defense mode as it has 0 defense. Its strength is very effective at running over most monsters. Some of the linked monsters as well have quite low attack stats, not to mention certain Xyz monsters, especially like the rank 4 toolbox monsters, tend to have 2000 or less attack points. Therefore, this card can easily run them over. And considering, lots of people don't really run that much battle traps and any sort of protection outside of that monster's maybe its effects, this card can sneak up on an opponent very easily. As for its second ability to attack 2 monsters during each battle phase, I can't really consider the use of it because its attack stat is 1300. You're not really going to be running over much, short of if you manage to stop a synchro play and then, they're stuck with a tuner and like 2 or 3 level 1, 2 or 3 monsters. Outside of that, I don't see real point of it. I suppose you could use it with the link format. You've got the increase of cards such as Scapegoat, so potentially you could use it to destroy 2 of your opponent's tokens, which is always a good idea. But generally speaking, unless you can raise its attack points to a sufficient value, I would say 2000 is a decent value. There is really not much use in that. It would have been better if it was just 2 attacks during each battle phase. Regardless, that means you could attack your opponent's life points or attack a monster if you wish. The middle enables this card not to be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's effects. This is a decent ability, but again, the problem with it is its strength is, it's weak. So because of that, you would have to run Mist Body or Heart of Clearwater or some sort of battle protection spell or trap card to prevent this card from being destroyed in battle very easily. I can see its longevity in that respect, but again, you would have to run quite specific cards for this in order to pair up with it. So then again, it might not be as worthwhile as you think. The last ability for monsters in the same column to be negated is more effective if you have summoned it second. So if you've got an Xyz monster on your opponent's field. You place this card in that zone, you shut down their Xyz monster or whichever extra deck monster they have. This can be very effective in that certain cards limit how you play. They can negate how you deal with things, and so this could be very surprising from an opponent's standpoint. If you were to run this first, and your opponent was stupid enough to put a monster in that zone, well, that's your opponent's stupidity for a start. And secondly, I mean, there is obviously a case where they can just bait out this card anyway. Might have a stronger play in mind, but they might think you might run this, and so we'll play a monster that's slightly stronger than this, but with a decent effect. So what do you guys think of this card? I think it has great use within its first and perhaps its third abilities. The other two I think are relatively mediocre, and I think they can be quite situational. Again, I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Do you think it's worth running? How many, of course, would you think of running? What decks would you think of running this card in? And what do you think of the design of the card? It's a winged beast, but from the looks of it, it looks very mythical. So I would have assumed from this card's artwork, actually I did assume from the card's artwork, that it would have been a spirit monster. Do you think it should have been designed as a spirit monster to go in with other spirit cards, or do you think it's just one of those unique standalone cards that Konami likes to create every so often? So it's, you know, you get general support rather than just archetypal support. As always, please leave a like on the video, please subscribe, please click the bell for notifications, and as always, thank you for taking the time to watch the video.